Hello everyone and welcome to a very exciting video on, let's say, strategy, positional chess. Today I'm going to show you a very instructional game which will illustrate why it is important to stay active, to activate your pieces at the right time, and what the passiveness might get you into. So before I show you the game, I just want to little disclaimer. The game is terrible. I basically blundered everything within first 10 moves. But again, it will show you that, okay, even National Masters with 27 bullets rating are terrible as well. As terrible as yourself. Look, I never say I'm a good chess player. I'm always terrible, so let's get to the game. So I started with d4, and we'll get to the interesting part shortly. Knight f3, h6, d4, c takes d4, queen d4. Now I immediately attack the rook on h8, he goes knight f6, I go e5. My idea is that if knight goes somewhere, I play e6, once again attack the rook, and then I play e takes f7, and basically preventing black's king from castling. So he goes knight e6, theory, yes, people know theory these days, especially FIDE Masters. Knight goes to d5, now I go queen f4. I don't really play queen f4 that often, but I think against this guy, I actually got into this trap not once, but at least multiple times. So he goes knight b4. And here the best move is to play, I think, to play bishop b5. And, you know, the positions that you are getting are wild, and I actually need to study theory more here. But I played c3. I mean, not a terrible move, but after d5, black have a serious threat. And, you know, I almost automatically took the pawn on g6. Yeah, as I said, you know, I wanted to make a little disclaimer. I'm a terrible chess player, all right? I mean, it's nothing to do with the topic of this video, because look, then I played some, let's say, decent chess. So I go e takes d6. I should have just played queen e2 and knight goes back, and then okay, I mean, I'll have to develop my bishop some other way, not on this diagonal, but maybe g3, bishop g2. But I played e takes d6 and skittish, bishop f5. And now it turns out that if my queen goes anywhere, knight c2, and I'm completely lost. So I decided to go queen f4. Knight c2, and you're probably wondering, I mean, you're 10 seconds, how are you gonna win this game? I don't know, guys, I'm about to show you this. So first of all, he takes my rook. So then I go bishop c4. I'm pointing towards this f7 pawn, and he goes queen d6, queen trade on the board, takes, and I go rook e1. He goes bishop e7, I go bishop g5, pinning the bishop, and now bishop e1. Just look at this position. How much extra material does this guy have? He has 5 points of extra material, if not more. The position is, oh, actually it says +8. Yeah, I don't care. I have no idea that's for amateurs. I just know that I'm down a lot of material. I'm down a rook and I'm down a piece. And guess what? This activity is still important. So I go king c1, I attack the bishop on b1, bishop f5, and now I play bishop b5. My idea is to take this knight on c6 and then take this bishop on e7, and he goes king f8. I go bishop h6 check. Now he goes king g8. And from the topic of this video, you already gotta understand that this rook is about to be a huge problem unless, let's say, black play bishop f8 on the next move. And guess what? I take on c6. I'm threatening to take on e7, and now I want you to actually try and find the best move for black pieces, because I already told you that unless black keep their dark squared bishop and not allow me to have this h6 bishop, they're fine. But my opponent didn't play bishop f8. Bishop f8 would be a good move, because now you trade this bishop off the board, because you're threatening to take on c6. I obviously don't want to go this way. I'll probably take, then take on b7, and then try to somehow survive the game. But he plays b takes c6, and guess what? After b takes c6, despite me being down a piece and the whole rook, I'm completely winning. And guess what? What's the thing is? I mean, right now, of course, I take on e7, but guess what? This activity is important. Rook e7, and now it turns out that f6 can never be played due to rook g7, and I just slide my rook all around, you know, windmill. And this knight potentially doesn't get out, because look, knight c2, and where does he go next? I mean, now I'm already kind of preparing for the middle. I mean, that's already an endgame position where I would be only down in exchange, but at the same time, his pieces are so bad and passive that I can do whatever I want. So he goes knight c2, which is a mistake, and now I go knight g5. Attack the pawn on f7. His knight is useless, it cannot go anywhere. He goes rook f8. And look, he is trying to make sure I take this stupid rook on f8. Because if I take, that's actually not that easy. But look, it's desperate. He's so desperate to try and do something. But I'm not taking material. Look, after all, look at this freaking rook. Look at this rook. This king. I mean, they're all terrible. And this is what you gotta understand about piece activity. Like sometimes, you know, yes, rook, and some beginners will say, oh, the rook, I gotta take it. That's bishop for the rook. What a move. But no, guys. This bishop is much more valuable than this rook on f8. So that's one of the concepts you gotta understand. Sometimes it's not about the material your opponent has. Yes, it might say, oh, +5, he's winning bishop f8, I'll make it +2. No! Don't do that. Don't do that to me. You don't take. I played g4. I'm trying to take at least the knight. Bishop g4, king c2. Computer says it's a mistake because I apparently had knight e4. Oh, actually, yes, I had knight e4 and then knight comes to f6. Oh my goodness, once again, piece activity, because now f5 cannot be played, or let's say f6 due to rook g7 checkmate. So he kind of tied himself, so I could play knight e4. So king c2 was a miss, king d2, d5, and guess what? I played before. I'm trying to minimize his counterplay because he wanted to push, obviously. He wanted to push here. I just don't want him to do that. So I go king f3. I go king d4, I go king f5, I go king f6, and guess what? Piece activity. Like, that's an insane ending position. Like, black are absolutely hopeless. They're up in exchange. They're up 2 pawns, guys. 2 pawns and exchange, and guess what? Hopeless. That's just a great illustrative game. I don't think I've played something like that in a while, but it just... because it was insane from getting an absolutely lost position. He plays d4 because he tries to protect from f7. So I just take bishop d5, and now I finally take because I was like, okay, now I have to do it if I want to win, because now rook a7, and it turns out that rook a8 is just a serious threat. I don't want to take on f7, and he's just passive on the last rank. King a8, I took the rook, and of course ended up converting pretty smoothly. Not smoothly, but again, we had very low time. I had to kind of try and win, and finally ended up checkmating him. Yes, terrible game, as I said, but I think it was a great illustration why you have to stay active, why you have to push for, you know, for some, you know, attacking options. Sometimes, yes, I was down in material, but look what happened. Like bishop c6, you know, I was trying to push, and then what happened was he has rook f8, rook h8, king j8. What is this? And then my king can walk all around the board without, you know, being punished. Yeah, I mean, that just that was a great game. Not the beginning part, as I said, disclaimer, not the beginning part, but yeah, the rest of the game was you know, pretty good, and I mean, it was amazing. So let me know any questions you might have. You can comment that I'm a terrible chess player. I know that, guys. You don't have to. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.